Hello, boys and girls. This is your Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Bedley, and welcome to another wonderful day doing math here in Excel land. This is 4th grade Excel, lesson 40, and we're going to be looking at three-dimensional shapes, 3D shapes, that's shapes that have depth to them. We're going to have them drawn on the lesson, but they really can't be drawn on the lesson because they actually take up space, and anything on the paper does not really take up space. It's just completely flat. But the way that they draw it makes it look like it kind of has some depth to it. So we're talking about shapes that are like just like objects that you would find out in the world and things like that. Before we get started, I do have a joke for you today. And the joke is, why do bikes fall over? Why do bikes fall over? So you'll have to stay tuned later on to find out the answer to that. I do want to encourage you to really pay close attention today. This is a challenging lesson. There's a lot to learn. You need to really stay focused and learn this stuff. Do not skip anything. Do it exactly like you're told in the video. Otherwise, you are going to be very lost in the days to come when we have to do problems on these types of things. So plane figures, I'm reading up here, plane figures are also called two-dimensional and have only length and width. They only go this way and this way, basically. I mean, they can go that way too, but that's called two-dimensional. Three-dimensional figures have length, width, and height. They are also called solid figures. So that's something that goes this way, and then it also goes back. I can't really draw it on the paper, but it goes toward you and away from you. That's a solid figure. You have seen the rectangular prism and the cube before. The dotted line should help you see the hidden sides of the figure. So here we have a shape that's a cube, and right below it's a cube. This one's kind of shaded in, you see that? But this one shows it kind of a see-through view. It's got the dotted lines right there that show you what the shape would look like on the back side. Here's a rectangular prism, two of them. Here's the see-through one and the solid one. And then here's a triangular prism. A prism basically means like a box of some sort. And so a triangular prism has, a triangle on both ends. And there's another one that's down there. Here's that you can see through one. You got the triangle here and the triangle there. It's basically shaped like a box. So a rectangular prism has rectangles on each end, and a cube has squares all the way around. You could really call a cube a square prism, but we don't call it that. We call it a cube instead. And then another shape is the cylinder, and that's basically kind of like those blocks that you used to play with when you were a kid. And they've got two circular bases on it, one on the top and one on the bottom, and then it just circles around like that. So it's called a cylinder, kind of like a toilet paper roll, except it's got a top and a bottom piece to it. It's not open. And then a sphere is basically a ball. Here's kind of a solid looking one with the light shining in this way. And then here we have more of a see-through one. That doesn't really have any edges or anything on it. All right, so let's continue on. All right, recognizing three-dimensional shapes, we've got 4 more of these. We have a square pyramid. Pyramids are shapes that come to a point up at the top. And on a square pyramid, there's a square down here at the bottom that it sits on. Here it is shaded in. All right, here's a rectangular pyramid. It's got a rectangle that's at the bottom, and it's a pyramid. And then we have a triangular pyramid that's got a triangle as the base. Then it comes to a point up at the top, so it's a pyramid. And then a circular pyramid is called a cone. Just like a prism that has square sides all over is called a cube. Well, a circular pyramid is called a cone. See, it's got a circle as the base, then it comes up to a point at the top. Most three-dimensional figures have flat faces, which are two-dimensional polygons. Cubes, pyramids, and prisms each have one or more flat faces. A flat face is like that right there. It's a smooth surface, and it's completely flat. There's no curve to it at all. So that's a flat face. Here is a flat face right here, and so on. All right, cones and cylinders have circular bases. So Here's a cone right here. It's got this circular base. It's like you set it right there, and on that base, that's what holds it up. And then also a cylinder, which you can see that still on your lesson, but it's not here on mine, which looks like that. That has two circular bases. You got one here, and then you'd have one down here that we can't see. Those are called circular bases. These are not considered faces because a circle is not a polygon. So in order to be a face, it has to be a polygon. It has to be made out of straight edges. Those aren't very straight. That would be a face. But these circles here are not faces because they are made up of a circle. And a circle is not a polygon. Cones, cylinders, and spheres each have one curved surface. A curved surface is like a face, except it's curved where you would not be able to set your drink on it. So picture that. We got some liquid in here, and if I tipped this shape on its side and set it down so it kind of looked like this, if I tried to put my drink on there, it would just roll one way or the other. Think about setting your drink. If this shape right here was set on its side and you tried to put your drink up there, you know, it would just roll right off. It would just fall right off that shape. And so those are called curved surfaces. Curved surfaces. Now, another term you need to learn is called straight edges. Straight edges are formed where flat faces meet. So right here, that's a straight edge. Okay, an edge is something like you could fall off, right? If you set your glass on the table and your parents say, hey, don't set that so close to the edge, they're talking about a line like this at the edge of the table where it could fall off. So when they ask you for straight edges, you're looking for basically lines, straight lines. Curved edges are formed where a curved surface meets a circular base. So curved edges are going to be just like these here, except they're going to curve like that. So it's kind of like if you have a round table and the edge right here, that's called a curved edge where something can fall off. Alrighty? A vertex, the next term you need to know is a vertex. A vertex is the point where at least two straight edges, three-dimensional figures, or two straight lines on two-dimensional figures come together. All figures except the sphere and the cylinder have at least one vertex. The vertex of a cone is the point formed by its curved surface. The plural of vertex is vertices. We don't say vertexes. The plural, or more than one vertex, are called vertices. Okay, so the way I remember this one is the word vertex starts with the letter V, and it's got a little point right there. And so you're looking for points that could poke somebody, just like I could poke somebody with the letter V. So if you see something on a shape that can poke someone, like that little spot right there, that's called a vertex. Count the number of faces, edges, and vertices for each of these figures and put the numbers on the chart on the next page. So you have these shapes that you can look at, and then what you're going to do is count what they're asking for and fill in this chart. Let's take a look at it. So the chart looks like this, and on my page, I don't think you have this, but I even have the shapes right there. Maybe you do, I don't know. But it's got, 6 different columns right across the top. We're going to do the first one together, and then you're going to do the rest of this chart on your own. Now pay real close attention. Make sure you're getting this, okay? It's not too easy. So the first thing is vertices. When you don't remember what that means, look back on your paper and read the definition to remind yourself. And when you're doing your daily work, your guided practice, and your homework side, and you forget what one of these words means, you got to look it up. You know, pull out a device and look up, just Google it. You can type in define vertices or define vertex or whatever. Define flat face. And it'll pull it right up for you. You can find out what it is. Don't just fake it. Don't use the check answer because that's going to come back to haunt you. You're not going to know how to do it on the test. Okay, so the first one, cube, let's fill these in. How many vertices are there? Now, vertices are the things, remember that V reminds us that it's something you can poke someone with. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 across the top. Now, if there are 4 on the top, How many things do you think you could poke somebody with down at the bottom? We got 1, 2, 3 in the front, but we also have 1 that's hiding in the back. So 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. We have 8 vertices. Write that on your paper. Flat faces. Well, the easiest way to think about that is that this shape, this cube, is kind of like a dice. And a flat face is a polygon that makes up one side of the shape. So let's think about that. How many sides are on a dice? I mean, you know what the numbers are on the dice. So how many flat faces are on this cube? The answer would be 6. 6 flat faces on the cube. Okay, how about circular bases? Well, there's no circles on there, so we're going to put a 0. And how about a curved surface? Is there any sort of a surface that if you set your drink on it, that it would just fall right off? No, they're all flat. They would all hold your drink nicely. So we're going to say there's 0. How many straight edges are there? An edge is, remember, something you could fall off. It's like a line. So it's hard for you to see where I'm writing, but right there, right there, right there, right there. We got 4 across the top, right? Well, how many would we have at the bottom then? 1, 2, and then there'd be 2 in the back, right? So that makes 4 on the bottom, and then we have 4 going up and down, don't we? Like 4 legs on the table. And so there's 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom, and 4 going up and down. That's 3 4s. How many straight edges do we have altogether? You should write 12 in there. How about curved edges? A place that you could fall off of, a little edge there that's curved. Well, they're all straight edges, so we have no curved edges. All right, this page is extremely challenging. Have some grit, have some persistence, don't give up, and see if you can fill in the rest of this chart all the way through number 9. Pause the video. After you've filled it all in, turn the video back on to see the solutions. Okay, so you should have already filled in the whole chart, and here we go with the answers. There they all are for you, okay? So pause the video, double check your work, and see if you made any mistakes, and then find out why you made those mistakes. Don't just skip over it and copy the answers down. You're not going to learn anything. And like I said, I'm going to find out, we're all going to know if you did that, because you're going to be so confused on this stuff. So make sure you're really listening to the video and watching it. Oh, and you probably want to know the answer to our riddle, and the answer of why do bikes fall down? It's because they're too tired. You get it? They're too tired. That's a little play on words there for you. The word "too" would be spelled differently depending on how you actually understood that. But hopefully you got that joke. Anyway, have a wonderful day, and hopefully you learned all this stuff that you were supposed to. Talk to you later. Bye.